What is going on? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We're going to come right back with a ton of stuff, including what happened yesterday, horrible events, and, of course, now a lot is coming in. So we will be right back right after this. Nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today we have a ton to go over, so if you are new here, like Drew O'Connor, who just subscribed 2 seconds ago, remember you can actually follow along on our website. If you go to marfooglenews.com, not only can you sign up for alerts or our SHTF alerts as well on our email list, you can also go and follow along every single link, article, twit that we actually put out. And yes, I just said twit. Again, is there. Now, it's all easy to navigate. It is all done by thumbnail. So you look for this thumbnail, Dark Christmas, and then once you click on that, you will see that we have made a bibliography of all of our sources. So if we do say something, we most likely have a source behind it. Now, if we don't, we make sure to clarify. Of course, I have a military source that is talking about what is going to happen after this Thanksgiving and after Black Friday. Black Friday, of course, those corporations want to get their money in, and in one day, or at least in that weekend, a ton goes down. In fact, some companies make more money during Black Friday and Cyber Monday than they do all year round. So we'll talk about that and what that military source said and what people's reactions were. I'm going to go over that as well. Of course, people don't like hearing any kind of thing that says that things are going to get worse. But again, that's unfortunately where we're at right now. Plus, people took it wrong. So we'll go over that in just a little bit. Now, let's bring in my co-host / internet brother, Dex. What is going on today, and how are you doing?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I am doing just fine.
So just a reminder, all of the links, every single article is here. You can go back retrospectively. You can even search by something I said. If I say, F-15 jet flies over border and you remember that, you can search that in our search bar at the very top, and then it will find the show that I was talking about it. At the very bottom, there is a yellow bar that is web-only content. That is the stuff that is too hot for TV or too partisan, too far to one direction for us to cover without being, while staying as neutral as possible. There's an entire other show down there, so make sure to do that. If you do want to support us in any way, again, you can go over to the right side. Any of our affiliates are over there. The affiliates, essentially how that works is when you purchase something, they end up sending us a commission, or again, they end up basically supporting us, and they give you a discount at the same time. So it's a win-win for everybody. We are independent. We don't have a multi-channel network. We don't have a multi-billion-dollar company behind us. We have you. We don't even have YouTube behind us. So please, if you can, make sure to go check those out. Only if you are already going to go get some of those things, make sure to go through us. Okay, and then let's go right into the news. There's a lot here. So, by the way, it is going to be a dark winter. There are so many things happening. Yesterday's event, we'll talk about it here in just a little bit. But it says, departing planes halted after accidental discharge at Atlanta airport, officials say. Now, I actually heard one of our Fugel family members was in the airport at that time, and they were talking about this, and they said that it was actually pretty scary. They were on their way to a family member's house for the holidays. So they weren't near this, but they said they were at least close enough to hear the initial kind of boom and then everybody panicking. So it was extremely scary, they said, because of people's reaction. And that's the thing. When people react, if you see a bunch of people after a bang bang goes off and they're all running towards you, you're going to start running. And it causes kind of it causes a domino effect. If I saw a bunch of people running away from a bang bang event, especially after the last 10 years of events, I would probably do the same. What would you do? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, it says all departing flights were halted at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport on Saturday after the accidental discharge of a weapon, officials said. It said there is no danger to passengers or employees, airport officials have said in a short statement on Twitter. An investigation is ongoing. More information will be published on this channel, and I believe we are still waiting for that.
I do have a couple of quick updates just because I'm familiar, at least here in the area, that it happened going through TSA, and they came out and said it was likely a passenger's in their bag, and they didn't realize it, and then that person fled, so they're looking for them, and they're reminding people that make sure to check your weapons before you go through TSA, because you're not supposed to have them, obviously. And they even put out a stat that of all the bang bangs they collect, about 83% are actually loaded.
Okay, well, so, why did the guy flee though? That's what's weird. So,
well, I think he probably got scared when if that happened, he probably took off, would be my guess. But then so did everyone else. That was part of the problem, is like the whole area of that terminal just went nuts and went running.
So nobody was there to say, nobody was there. There was nobody to say, basically, that was mine. This isn't a big deal, or I mean, it is a big deal, but that, hey, this isn't a tag. That was an accidental discharge. Because he left as well, there's just basically a huge mystery, a huge bang, and then everybody freaking out. And there was no, no. Here's the thing, though. If the fact that he fled, I don't know. Yeah, I guess he could be scared that he's going to get felony. I don't know. I don't even know how many numbers of felonies you could get for accidentally doing that. Having it is one thing, but then for it to discharge in the airport with TSA, that would be a very probably a horrible event for that person as far as the charges he could get, right? I assume, especially with how the airports are. And he could have the suspicion on him that he was trying to bring that onto the plane. Was this a carry-on, or do we know if it was carry-on or luggage? Do we know if it was check-in?
There's still speculation. They haven't released all of the information, other than what I did read was they have a name of the person. They're trying to find him. He had fled out at one of the exit doors during the chaos, and he took the gun with him. What if this was going to be an attempted hijacking or something? I think that's in the back of everybody's head after, of course, what we had during, of course, 2001 in September, right? So yeah, or it could have even just been it could have been accidental, but it also could have been somebody just trying to do harm in a public place with lots of people too, right?
Yeah, and I bet the airports right now are incredibly packed. April Sheldon, thank you so much for your massive support of the show tonight. Thank you for popping in and doing that super chat. Seth Covington, thank you as well. Thank you guys for the first 3 minutes of the show popping in. And then Bible Talk for Common People says, Christians stock up food for the tribulation. Be the 5 wise virgins, but look for Jesus the whole time. Bible Talk for Common People, thank you for your support. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, again, we have pre-trib and post-trib people that often argue in the comments. I think either way, most people that are at all religious think that something is on its way. That's for sure. I feel like there are so many signs that it's pretty hard to. I actually don't know, because I've never been an atheist, and I don't have too many friends that are. I do know a lot of people that are, but they're not, close. because there is so much atheism now, and I don't blame people for whatever they do with their thoughts and their everybody is to each their own, right? But I would find it hard to see all the things that have happened in the last few years, especially if you know all of the very exact things that have happened. That I don't know how you would not think that there was some sort of greater power out there. And maybe some atheists actually do believe in a greater power. They just don't believe in a certain one, right? Well, either way, something seems like it's going down. They've warned us of T attacks. Just a few weeks ago, they said that most of it would be, domestic, like it would be basically T supporters or this or that. We don't know what's actually going to happen, but we do know that they are stepping up their side of it. The government is preparing for massive events all over the country, and this has been proven. We have the actual documents and the things from their side, these warnings that they're putting out to government agencies, from the drills and the exercises that they're doing all over the country, from even down to the ads to recruit people to do these exercises. They are all happening all at the same time. I want to thank Hopkinson Karen from Columbus over on DLive Snowboard Lizari. We've got Island by the Sea. M. Rogers just joined us, just followed. Sugar Bean and Shivzak 8. Thank you, everybody that just followed over there. Again, approaching somewhere close 40,000 followers over on DLive. So thank you guys. Jem, thanks for holding it down on the mod part of that. And then thank you everybody else that's in there. Now, going over to this, there was looting. Again, we'll talk about kind of all the stuff that have happened. And this is, again, I believe partly due to the Rittenhouse court decision and other things. It says that storefront windows of Louis Vuitton, Saks Fifth Avenue on Rodeo Drive, damaged. And it says that authorities on Sunday were investigating the circumstances surrounding two incidences in Beverly Hills that resulted in windows of two stores being smashed. Two very expensive stores at that. It says that Beverly Hills police say officers responded Sunday to reports of a window smash near the 200 block of Rodeo Drive. When they arrived, they located two storefronts that had windows smashed. The damaged storefronts include Louis Vuitton and Saks Fifth Avenue. Police said no merchandise was taken from either store. So I don't know if they smashed it and then we're like, oh, I'm scared. If you even take one thing, you probably take a wallet. That's a felony because it's probably worth over $500. So I don't know if that's why they ran, if this was kids or what. I did see one Twitter video that had very blurry footage, not even worth sharing from across the street, but that was about it that I saw. As far as this goes, this is part of a lot more that is going on. It says that the Bay Area is hit by a third consecutive day of brazen looting as gang tank over a mall jewelry store. Now, this kind of reminds me of what happened here in Bellevue in Washington. One of the malls was actually broken into and looted, and almost every store was getting into, and they had live cameras kind of showing this huge group or gang of people take over, and they even said that it was like Bellevue gang members. And what's funny, Dex, is they said it was mostly gang members that did it in here. I think they're trying to say that so that you don't think it's regular people, like just regular average Joes that are going in and stealing these things. What do you think, Dex, about?
Well, in this scenario, you've got an organization, or at least a semblance of organization, when you have 50 people working together at the same time, right? And in this scenario, they're going into, and this is in the San Francisco area and the other Bay Area surrounding areas. They're going into these malls and they're, just annihilating complete stores, all in a hurry, all with like 50 people. And nobody knows what to do, and of course it's chaos. Like, I mean, you can imagine if you're standing in the store and people come running in with hammers bashing all the glass in, that's probably a scary sight for a typical shopper that wouldn't expect to see that, right? So that's going on in broad daylight in these stores, especially in the Bay Area. And I think part of it they're saying is due to some of the changes in laws there. But back to your point about calling it, whether you call it a gang or not, I think it's easier for them to just label that broader term without getting into the details of who may be behind the organizing, or if anyone is actually behind the organizing.
Now, again, the laws that he's mentioning are laws that I think even kind of all over the country, people are getting released for things that they probably shouldn't. People are getting bailed out for things that they shouldn't. If you look at yesterday's event, if it is true how they said it went, the gentleman, the rapper that was a part of this event on the Christmas this Christmas Day march, they said that he was actually bailed out or did bail for a charge of actually running over or hitting his baby mama. That they somehow released him, and then he went out and did it to many more people. Very, very weird thing there as far as what happened there. They even show, this is what's so weird about that, they even show he had music videos where he's bragging about his 2001 Ford Explorer or whatever it is. Like, who shoots a rap video and purposely shoots it in front of a $4,000 car? Maybe that was his point, but usually rappers are in front of Lamborghinis or something like this. Maybe he's trying to get people to know that oh, I like red and I like my really shiny Ford Explorer. It's just not whatever. I think it was a Ford Explorer, whatever it was a Chevy Ford Explorer, whatever it happened to be. It was just, it's not a very special car. It would be like me doing a rap video in front of my 99, Chevy green beat up truck. It's might work for a country video, but not for a rap video, right? If you haven't seen that rap video, Dex, I don't know if we can actually find that. Did you see that, by the way, Dex? I don't know if you saw the... Yeah,
I did. And it may be linked in the article that we're going to cover. I'll have to check and see if the video is. Either
way, the one that I saw was a shorter kind of music video, and it shows him in front of this red SUV, and it's and then for him to park in his driveway with the smash side out, he backed in for people to see him. It's just weird. It's freaking weird. Catch me, I don't know. You would think, and this happens a lot. People do hit and runs where they, hit a car or hit a person. We have hit and runs all the time. There are many unsolved hit and runs, right? But people normally, they'll either go straight to a repair shop and try to get it repaired real quick, or they go and they cover their car with a car cover. There was a guy just a couple weeks ago that got caught after hitting two people in a crosswalk. And then he went to Walmart, sat in Walmart, and everybody's surrounding his car because he had things on his car that looked gross, right? And he was inside buying a car cover for his car. And he came out with it, and by the time he did, the police were waiting for him hey, you've got people on your car. So it's this was weird. We'll go into it later, but there's everything that is happening right now, which I just mentioned just a couple weeks ago. I said, do you remember when all of these events were happening, that very specific thing where these cars were going into people? And I said that stopped all of a sudden, and we moved on. We had all these kind of batches of these events happening. So it's just weird timing. And it says the new normal, Bay Area is hit by the third consecutive day of looting as 50 Stronghammer gang storms jewelry store after Macy's and Lululemon stores were hit. Thieves take advantage of woke misdemeanor law. It says San Francisco Bay has been hit by the third day of brazen looting, with a gang of thieves filmed smashing glass cases and a jewelry store and emptying them as staff screamed in terror. So that they had people there. It's not like this is before they were open. It said the latest incident happened at Sam's Jewelry Store at the Southland Mall in Hayward around 5:30 p.m. Pacific Sunday evening. So this was at 5:30 prime time on a Sunday. And all of them were caught on cameras. It said that the robbers, said to have been part of a gang of around 40 to 50 teens who entered the mall, wielded hammers to smash the display cases at Sam's before making off with the goods. Dramatic footage shot from a nearby store shadow showed shop workers screaming with fear as the disturbing scene unfolded. So,
and there's pictures further down.
Yeah, so with this whole event, Dex, it's so they say it was organized, right? I just wonder who organized these things and what kind of coverage will this get? Will this get 24/7 coverage on certain news medias and not coverage on another? I don't know. It just seems a little bit off.
Yeah, so a couple of things that come to mind, right? You've got laws in certain cities that are making it. So we've got across the board, it's no secret that crime has been going up over the year, right? For various reasons. But, when you take into account the seasonality, right? Going into the holiday season, crime is usually at its highest. I mean, that's when I was mugged, was going into the holiday season, right? That crime just goes up. For people, I guess people are trying to make money, get money, or acquire things for the holiday season. So we've got that. We've got inflation. We've got people that aren't working right now. Of course, there are plenty of jobs open, but all of these things sort of come together to, really amp up this whole crime problem that is being seen widespread across many major cities in America. So this is not, I don't think this is just an acute thing. I think we're actually going to see more and more of it. Sort of like what we just saw was in LA or Beverly Hills was I would think was more of a test, right? Let's go smash a couple windows and see how fast everybody reacts. And, Beverly Hills is a far cry different than the, some of these Bay Area locations where they could, probably get away with a lot more, so it's getting pretty brazen to go down Rodeo Drive. And I would not be surprised if we don't see more of this in major cities. I know the Miracle Mile in Chicago, people don't shop there anymore. A lot of those stores are having problems, things like that. So, yeah.
And like you said, it's like they could have broke the window at, in Rodeo Drive to see. Obviously, that's a rich, row. That's where the stars walk and shop and things. If it's not the main one, but it's one of the main. It's Beverly Hills. A ton of stars and elites live there, and a lot of movie stars and end up having houses in Beverly Hills. So they go down and they walk Rodeo Drive. A lot of people. In fact, one of the streamers on D Live. This dude that basically goes and talks to him. He's got a very small channel. I'll try to get his name and mention it tomorrow. He goes and he tries to see these stars. I caught him once or twice, and he just kind of tries to get sightings of stars on Rodeo Drive. And he often does. And it's like the cops will show up in a neighborhood like this in 2 seconds. I don't know about it, particularly Rodeo Drive, but I know in Beverly Hills, if an alarm goes off or something, they're there in 30 seconds. Whereas you take one of the ghettoer neighborhoods or somewhere else, it's like you won't even have them show up. Cops won't show up at all in certain areas around here. It's like the South End, Seattle. You'll have a 4-hour response time to somebody wielding a knife. It's like, how is that even possible? How is that happening right now? But this is what it is. It's like these, or if you had, there's an area in Bellevue, Eastgate, not Eastgate, more Medina, where actual Bill Gates lives, where his first huge mansion that everybody talks about on the water. In that neighborhood, not only is there like radars and traps everywhere, but there's also police response and it's almost instant. Whereas you cross the water and you go somewhere else to the ghetto, South End, boom, no response whatsoever. It's like they have their own police force, and they do. So as far as this goes, this is Adam, pretty brazen.
Yeah, and if you can pull up the map that's on, it's one of those pictures. This is like what it shows, like 5 locations that have all been hit. I mean, and this is from San Francisco down to San Jose, and then from Oakland down on the backside of the bay. I mean, that's a lot of locations all within 2 days, right? And I think the other thing that we need to think about is as this happens and news gets out about this, it basically tells other people, hey, look at what people are getting away with, right? And they'll start doing it as well. More people will join in on this kind of nonsense. So be careful out there.
Yeah, well, we'll see how Lululemon. What is a Lululemon store? What do they have?
It's women's clothes. I think it's like some sort of pants or something. I don't know. Lululemon or something. I think it's Lululemon.
Lululemon.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Lulu.
I don't own any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, moving on. Idaho research shows cloud seeding works as western states seek cure for severe drought. So, of course, people are looking at this that have been talking on the internet about how they have thought that this is already happening, and it's been happening for over a decade at least, right?
Yeah, and for now, those censors out there, this is coming from the Washington Post. Okay, that's the original source who this Oregon article is quoting.
Yes. So anybody trying to say that this is from some sort of fringe source, this is from mainstream media. And again, now they're finally coming out with kind of these things we've saw over the last 2 years. Certain governments, I want to say it was the Arizona, it might have been the Texas government, actually put stuff on their website about the kind of, I forget, they call it geo and then engineering, right? They call it that rather than what we've all called it, the trails, right? So with these droughts, right, they're going to try to do this, and it says the drought in the western United States is so severe, it's now getting frequent headlines in the east where rainfall has been plentiful. The latest comes from the Washington Post, which zeroes in on Idaho Power's efforts to prove the worth of its 2 decades-long program for southern Idaho and eastern Oregon. The private utility estimates that its seeding operation results in about 600,000 acre-feet of additional water in the Payette, Boise, and of course the Wood River basins, as well as over 400,000 acre-feet of additional water each year in the Upper Snake River Basin. Now, it does say that they're saying that it proves that they have an additional snowpack because of this. It says you probably heard about seeding now and again over the years. Scientists discovered way back in the 1940s that injecting silver iodide into certain winter storm clouds appeared to prompt more rainfall. And various states and countries have been doing this for years to increase mountain snowpack. Now, one of the arguments out there is that this has been a little bit bigger than that. Some say global, and that, they obviously wouldn't be able to say something out loud if it was based on something that they knew and we didn't, or they're telling the very upper echelons of the government. Say for the last 10 years, they've told them that, hey, we're on this precipice of climate chaos. If you remember all of this stuff a couple of years ago, it's climate chaos and all this stuff is going down. If they told the very upper echelons that, hey, this is all going down if we don't do something, they said, but we can't really say anything out loud because people will freak out. People will have different thoughts about it. They'll say, well, what is in this? And it will be a huge ordeal. We might just have to do it on the low. This was, of course, the theory, right? But at the same time, people have noticed this, and it's not the same as it was. They would call it environmental manipulation. In this case, it says, but it's always been hard to pin down whether this environmental manipulation really was making rain fall. Now the Post reports that the first unambiguous evidence that seeding can increase snowpack levels has led to a small renaissance in the practice. So now this shows that they're going to do it more and more. But not only that, they're going to do it. I think they're just going to do it more and more in the public. So coming up, we're going to have all of this information told to us, and all these new discoveries are going to happen in the next couple of years. And I want to say something. We are heading into a time where they are, and by they, the world governments are going to tell us that things are really, really bad. And that they're so bad that we need to do something drastic. And we need to do something so drastic that it's going to change all of our lives. We're going to have to survive in this new world, right? And it's all because of this. This is going to be part of the reason why it all happens. As far as it kind of all falls into place of why a lot of things are happening right now. And this is one of the kind of the pushers. I believe, this is my personal theory. Some of this stuff that is going on is more and more is going to come out. It said that evidence coming from Idaho Power's work and the National Center for Atmospheric Research, NCAR, arrived last year. The study, quantifying snowfall from orographic seeding, it says received little attention when it was published, no doubt because it had landed in March 2020, just as the pandemic was rolling all over the country. But one NCAR scientist called the results a revelation. This study uses the approach of combining radar technology and precipitation gauge measurements to quantify the spatial and temporal evolution of snowfall generated from glaciogenic cloud in winter mountain cloud systems and its spatial and temporal evolution. So they're saying that they're going to start playing with this a whole lot more, or publicly they're going to tell you that this is going to happen. And this is going to be part of the response to this whole chaos thing that they're talking about, that's coming. The end of the world, as they some have said, right? The end of Earth's natural cycle, like we're at the point of no return. This is again, they call us fearmonger. They talk about, we're going to go extinct very soon here if we don't get this under control. And again, I'll leave you guys at all to have your opinions on that yourselves. So this is just more public kind of evidence of what has been going on. And it does say, as part of this, it says for years. James Fox, thank you for your support. I appreciate massive support from James Fox. And that Gen X dude doing a $7 super chat says, vanity and gluttony at its best. Prep now, worry later. One love, Marfia. Hey, thank you, that Gen X dude, and thanks for popping in. I appreciate you. And, of course, we have Daryl Brooks fled a domestic dispute before Waukesha parade whore and was on bail for running over the mother of his child. So with this story, of course, a lot of people are obviously talking about this. This is on the main cycle right now. This is going to be 24/7. So I'm not going to go too into this because obviously people have heard about this at water coolers, and no matter where you were today, people were mentioning this. And I'm sure of that. If you work a normal job, this has been talked about all day, and people have been talking about the weird instances on this. It says the suspect in the rampage that left 5 perished and fled a domestic dispute moments before the crash had been bailed out just days before the frenzied attack, police said on Monday. Rapper Daryl Brooks, 39 years old, who performs under the name Math Boy Fly, what a name, is facing 5 charges of intentional homicide. That is what Waukesha, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong, Waukesha police chief and confirmed. How do you say it again, Dex? It's Waukesha?
I think it's Waukesha.
Okay. As far as what is going on there, this is in Wisconsin, the same state that had the result from Kyle Rittenhouse case. So a lot of people at first thought that it was related to that. The gentleman who did this is a little known rapper. Of course, he did a couple music videos, which I believe are actually linked here. What happened too is the members that actually perished were all over 50 years old, some of them in their 80s, and we don't know yet because there were at least 2 children that were in critical condition, had perished, were part of the Dancing Grannies Club. So he literally hit a group of dancing grannies. So this guy is just a piece of work. But whatever happened here, I don't know the true story. I did see multiple angles. And I will tell you this, half of the angles that I posted up on Twitter are now gone. Even if you go to my Twitter account, you'll see that half of the videos that I actually posted that were posted right after this thing happened, they're now not available. So I don't know why, the 2 of them were very they didn't show anything. They didn't show anything graphic. In fact, one of them was like a slow motion and it just saw the car kind of drive by. All of them were not actual videos that were, graphic or anything. And they were deleted or they were taken down. So lots of kind of weird stuff. Maybe the accounts that posted those were kicked off for posting other more, worse ones. I don't know. But half of the videos I posted were taken down. Timothy Sloat.
In addition to the dancing grannies, though, I thought I'd heard about a children's group that was like carrying pom-poms or something like that, that they were also right either before or after the grannies, and they were involved too. So that was pretty horrible.
There were
right?
several children. What was it? 48 injured? Is that right? Or was it 18?
It says at least 9 patients, most of them children, were in critical. So that sounds pretty bad.
So that number might go up.
Yeah, and just so you know, the chat got upset with me. It's Waukesha.
Okay.
Waukesha. It's Waukesha.
That's why I asked. I thought I heard it was different here. So
and I still may be wrong, but I'm doing my best.
Waukesha. Waukesha. I've heard it several different ways. The news that I heard actually said something like Waukesha. So if we're wrong, that's fine. Timothy Sloat, thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the Foogle fam. Everybody, welcome Timothy. And then if you do subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. Thank you so much, everybody that has joined us tonight. So with this, with this whole incident that happened, what was crazy is right afterwards, there were pictures on Twitter of the front end of this vehicle on the side of a Waukesha house, and it was pointed towards the street. The front end was completely smashed in. I don't know how that vehicle was not totaled, and it had obvious marks, right? And they said
Did you hear they killed the power video too?
Oh, so okay, all right. So
I'm assuming they killed the power, but the power was out in that area. 170,000 people didn't have power after or during that incident.
Okay, so there was not only a blackout, there was a I wonder what I had somebody tweet me and they said, I understand this, but I don't understand the blackout. So I actually looked at the power, all of the down websites, the down detector, all of that. They had a media blackout and they had a power blackout. What in the world was this? What happened here? I don't know. I feel like this was just very, very weird. They have kind of a perfect thing here lined up. Like this guy's a rapper and he already hit somebody and then was released. And then with the previous events that we talked about prior, these robberies where it shows just blatant pictures of who's doing it and everything else, it seems to me like they're really trying to pit people against each other right now. I mean, like really trying to pit people against each other. And we're talking about, I really feel like that the media is boosting a lot of this hatred towards other people. And if you guys get what I'm saying, like any other people, it seems to me like it's like they're trying to just get everybody in the whole country to rise up against each other. I don't know why. I don't know what is going on with this. It's just absolutely absurd. If you see the rap video, you see that it clearly has this, kind of, I guess, just an average car in the background. It's an average SUV. I don't even think it's a fancy version of that year. It's like a stock version of a regular kind of Ford Explorer or whatever it was. So this, he had a long criminal history. He was let out. He made bail after hitting the mother of his child with a vehicle. One thing I also don't get is the videos that were shown that show he goes through a barricade and they're banging at him. Is it automatic that they would, take shots at this guy after he went through the barricade? They were firing towards this huge, group of people, and people assumed that was the police. Did we hear anything about that, Dix? Did you see the videos?
Yeah, the police came out and said the only fire that went off was from them, not from The driver.
Okay.
So I suspect that they were treating it as a deadly weapon, given what he was doing, and they were trying to stop him.
I don't know. This is so they at that very first point. Did he hit somebody at that barricade? Did he nearly hit police? Did he? Why did they end up firing? That's what I want to know. And where was that location?
That was after.
Really?
Yeah. I think when that happened was after. That may have been like the second barricade he would have gone through to get out of the area, if that makes sense. I don't know. I haven't watched all of the details, but from what I heard from accounts, people said they heard that noise, but they didn't necessarily say they heard it before, they heard it after. I could be wrong.
I just don't remember it being smashed up as smashed up as it was when it was parked in the I guess the driveway of his house.
Yeah, that's true too. But yeah, and obviously that image, when he went through the main part of the crowd, that's what completely destroyed that front of that vehicle.
Absolutely insane. What do you think about this? Email me or DM me if you have strange information on this. I knew several people on Twitter said that they were right up the street from this. One person said that he lives 10 minutes away from where this event happened. If you have other information or know anything, let us know.
Adam, real quick, did you know of any other instance when they've had a blackout like this? Somebody had reported that when the event happened in Boston, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about when I say the marathon or that event that happened then, that they had killed the power then. I don't know if that's true or not, but I just thought it was interesting, though, that this had a blackout associated with it.
Well, did they do that to find him? Were they able to use a technology to find this vehicle? That is a freaky part. And then I want to find that. I wish.
And it's a small town. I mean, it's not, not to say that small towns can't be smart and, and use tactics like that, but it just, I don't know. It just seemed odd that was how it was being dealt with, was let's put up a blackout.
So this is a picture of it in the driveway. Looks like even a cat sitting there. Like it's, who is that? That doesn't look like him. Maybe that's a police officer. I don't know. Somebody said
that's probably not his house either. It's probably where he ditched it.
I guess it seems like kind of purposely parked there. So hold on. I was trying to find a tweet here. Somebody responded. I believe it was Twisted Luck Truth. There was a video briefly that shows him speeding by. Again, we'll link. We can link some of these there. There's definitely some bad videos that we don't want to show here. I don't understand the power outage. Possibly that they wanted to get. I just don't understand it. That's why it makes me think that there was something greater that went on here. And of course, they don't want to say it would be a T attack. They directly, right off the bat, said it wasn't. So I don't know. Right after,
was there a cellular outage too? I mean, I know towers stay on with their own backup power, but I wonder if the blackout included cellular.
And they had a shelter in place. Everybody was to shelter in place. So they did think that this was something bigger. I believe that they thought that this was a T attack. A shelter in place would normally be around something like what happened in Boston, around what happened at that run, right? So
right.
So we'll follow it as more comes out, and we will update everybody on that situation. Benjamin Allen says, listening in from the Palm Springs of Washington, you get my first ever YouTube super chat. Anyone else remember the EQ swarm in Alaska a couple years back? I do. And Benjamin Allen, the Palm Springs of Washington, I believe, is Yakima. That's so funny. Palm Spring, by the way, Yakima is, it's not necessary. It's not, it's not a Palm Springs. There's parts of Yakima that they called like the drug hole of the United States. Like there's such bad areas in that place. My dad was from Yakima, so I know about the area. It was pretty bad in some of the areas, especially the areas where it's like trailer parks for as far as you can see. Either way, let's listen to a message from Tom Homan, former ICE director.
My name is Tom Homan. I'm the former ICE director under President Donald Trump, and I'm here to ask America to wake up. You can protect yourself, and at the same time protect this great nation. The threat of electromagnetic pulse is real. EMP. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's a matter of life and death. I recently partnered with a Midwest company, veteran-owned, that has developed a device you can hook up to your home or your vehicle to protect you against an EMP. I highly encourage you to go to EMPshield.com and research this device. Again, it will protect you, in the long term, protect this great nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, that was Tom Homan, former ICE director. So, if you do not know why we do this, then I would highly recommend you doing your own research into this. EMP Shield is the same company that is now outfitting agencies like DOD, DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and of course, Department of Homeland Security is the ones who told us that we should all have 6 months to a year of food and water because of a possible EMP. Now, this device, depending on which one you get, they all are designed for the same purpose, but there are multiple different devices. There's one for your house, one for your generator, one for your car. The car being the most popular version because nobody wants to be stuck after multiple EMPs. This grounds the signal in a picosecond before it has the chance to fry your device, your house, your car, and they even make one for your ham radio. If you have a solar system, then you should protect it with one of these. Again, this is something that is not only military tested, military used, it is 100% American made, and it is essentially it's way above a surge protector. When you're talking about micro or macro seconds, this is in picoseconds. This is literally how they are going to keep the lights on at military bases and things like that. Same technology is going to be used for consumers. Again, make sure to go over and check it out. You can also protect yourself against a natural solar flare. So a Carrington level event, something happens on average every 150 years. The last one was 160 years ago. So either way, it's something that will happen, but will we be protected and ready for it? That is the question. If every single person in our country at least had this, there would be no issue. But there is none. I mean, this is completely, something that's going to take years and years. So hopefully people get it before anything bad happens. As far as how to get it, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Again, that is marfooglenews.com/EMP. There are multiple different ones. You get $50 off per device when you go through us, and that also helps us because then they end up sending us a commission and you a discount. Here's the thing. I don't listen to anybody now at this point. People say that we're fear-mongering to sell things. First of all, I think part of it is that they think that many more of these are sold than there are. But two, I think it is literally because people are afraid of the subject that we're talking about. I think that there's a lot of fear, and we're not trying to push fear. We're not trying to fear-monger. At the same time, it's at some point, people have to wake up to what is happening right now. I want to go to my tweet while we're at it. Again, if you want to go end up and support us and protect yourself, go over there and check it out. You can. But
and it stacks with the sale that's going on this week.
Oh, and there's Black Friday sale. So again, make sure to go check that out while you can. We always end up telling you when it's too late, so make sure to get over there. Now I want to go over to the tweet that I was talking about. And because of the timing of this tweet, a lot of people just took it somewhere where it was not. So I'm going to show you the tweet I was talking about, and this is directly from a military source that I know, and this is something that here's the thing that I am sure of. I don't say something knowing especially something that's a few weeks out. So I'm going to say something. I don't like saying these things on the show, but again, I'll just read it. It says, I was just told by one of our prominent military members that we will be following Australia after Black Friday. And I said it would make sense that they would want their money first. At this time or around this within a couple days, Austria just got locked down, or they locked down the people that didn't follow the rules. I didn't say lockdown once in this message, and people responded both good and bad. I think some people said that I think I was confusing Austria and Australia. I was not. I meant Australia. No one took this literally because of the other news. I wasn't thinking about Austria one bit. I was talking about Australia. It says, correction, I think you meant Austria. Everybody had other news. In what way? At least that person actually read Austria or Australia. Some people said that this is this. I never said lockdown. What I said is that we were going to be following Australia. Australia has some of the craziest restrictions right now. It's not even funny. And what I was told is after Black Friday, those will be starting here, and a lot more of them. Again, this is something that I don't like saying because this is a short few weeks out. And if I have to eat my feet or eat my words, then I will. But I don't say something unless it is A, a very good source, or B, it is something that I 100% believe or I know is going to happen, because I don't want to eat my words. So I'm all the people, and some of them were just saying like, I wonder if you're talking about this or that. Those people, fine. Some people were just immediately rude, saying there won't be lockdown and that's Austria, you idiot, ignorance, blah, blah, blah. I never said anything about Austria. So if ignorance is something where you don't even know what the person is talking about and you're putting things in it that doesn't have anything to do with it. As far as this goes, it was, see, I think you got this is not that bad. It says, I think you got the two countries confused, my friend. The country under lockdown is Austria, not Australia. Again, never said lockdown. It says not Australia down under like you stated. I never stated lockdown. I said we would be following Australia. And since people had something fresh in their brain, and this is what I think happens a lot on the internet, is people, they have something else put in their head and then they apply it to something that it's not. So the reason I want to say this is because everybody, see, this gentleman, whoever this is, this was rude. Austria, ignorant. It's like, I'm not talking about Austria and at all. Like, don't know where Austria came into this. Don't know. I said I meant Australia, not Austria. This is not an lockdown. If true, meant exactly what I said. We would be following in the footsteps of Australia, not Austria. So one thing, and by the way, after I tweeted this, we have already seen Mississippi and 2 other states that have already pushed higher restrictions. So here's the thing. This winter is when we expect everything to start pumping up. So that's why I said it's going to be a dark winter. So I wanted to correct that and make sure that everybody that didn't see my responses to those tweets know I meant Australia, and I meant that we were following Australia, because that's what I was told, and I do believe them. And I'm not worried about sharing something. Somebody says, well, do you remember this other guy that got booted for saying this and that? I'm not saying anything that I don't, if I was to get booted for that, that would be booting me for saying the truth, for saying something that I know 100%, at least I can say with good faith that it is from a good source. And I'm talking about a prominent source. So anybody that wants to argue, at least wait until after Black Friday, until there's no more restrictions placed. Because even within 24 hours, I'm sure some of those are seeing the news that we are going to be going into more restrictions. So more and more things are going to, and here's the thing, things change overnight. It's absolutely crazy how fast things are changing right now. So I hope that everybody understands that. Yeah.
I just saw earlier today a announcement from Australia that they were using forces to haul positives and contacts, anybody that had been close to one, to centers. You know what I mean when I say that? So, I mean, that's an example of what, for those that don't seem to follow what is going on in Australia. It's pretty significant. And it's not unlikely for us to look at both Australia and even Canada as similarities or examples to what they may or may not want to do in America.
Well, it's the fact that once one person said Austria, not Australia, and everybody thought, oh, it was a typo. It was not a typo. We're not using Austria as a model for the U.S. Australia is our close ally, and they're using that as that's a guinea. And I'm sorry, everybody in Australia, you are being used as a model for the rest of the world. They are looking at the numbers and the data from all of the things that are going on there, how people react, how people end up reacting to things, and they're using those other places. We've already seen college and Harvard professors, and they're quoting these Australian things for uses in the U.S. So they're using Australia. But it came out, I think, that day or the day before that Austria was locked down, or the people that didn't follow the rules were. And it's just like one person jumped on it, and everybody's like, no, I think you meant this. No, I meant exactly what I said. For once, I was hoping that people would read that literally. So anyways, as far as Australia, what is happening in Australia is absolutely crazy. Austria, that came out of left field. It was like, boom. They just went and did something very, very extreme, in my opinion, and a bunch of people's opinions. So we'll see what happens with all of this. This is like really crazy stuff. So now that I've got that out of the way, again, I meant that, and we'll see. We'll see if I have to eat my own words, and if I do, I have always come forward and I've said, hey, this person was wrong. Again, but this is I'm not doing. Oh, by the way, on my Twitter, how many people follow on my Twitter out of the 400,000 nearly of both channels? There's like, literally like 1/16 of that follow my Twitter. So if I say something on Twitter, it doesn't affect my channel. It doesn't help my channel. It doesn't make people go, oh, I got to search this guy up. I didn't put a link to my channel. I put that for the people that are paying attention. I put stuff over there because it is separated. If you want to know if I get like real stuff, I'm going to put it on Twitter. You can follow me over there at Marfoogle if you want. If not, it's up to you. Also, somebody said, oh, you're pushing this and pushing this. I just want to give you my argument for this. I am not pushing anything on anyone. I cannot push fear, and I cannot push fear-mongering, because guess what? For you to hear me here, you have to subscribe to me. You have to find me. You have to follow me, or you have to search me out to hear the words I am saying. So I'm not pushing to anybody. These people follow me for a reason. They follow me because they either believe in me, they like me, they hate me, whatever it may be. I don't understand the argument that people watch and they're so pissed and they're mad because I'm tricking other people into fearing something. I'm not. They are here voluntarily. If they weren't, they would be somewhere else. If they enjoy something else, they can go. I don't push anything because you are here listening to me, or you have the freedom of choice to be somewhere else. There's absolutely no way for me to push anything onto you if you're here voluntarily. If I was to hold you down and say, hey, fear this, that would be another thing. But it's not. So I just don't understand the whole concept of that. If you want to listen to me, you're here. If you don't, you don't. So I hope everybody kind of gets that point. It's voluntary. It's voluntary to be part of the Mafia. It's voluntary to be part of the Foogle fam. Thank you. Lead dispenser, wife's making me play Call of Duty, have to go. Oh, lead dispenser, well, the wife is making, I don't think I've ever heard that sentence in my life. The wife is making me play Call of Duty, have to go. One lucky man there. Lead dispenser, thank you. Looks like you dropped in crazy amounts of diamonds. Thank you. And then Patriot says, lost checks don't get returned to you either. They go to dead letters. Call the receiving party to resend. I don't know what that was. Oh, postal Nixie clerk here. Do not send in your Xmas cards, or it may end up in my loose in-mail desk. I think Patriot works at the, what do you call it, the post office. And then it says, Patriot, thanks. It happens every year. ARG. Lead Dispenser, thank you from California. Divine1122 says, Light of Love. Everyone, thank you, everybody that dropped in. Especially thank you, Lead Dispenser, even though you're probably gone by now. And then Queen BTB, happy birthday to me. Woohoo. Queen BTB, happy birthday. And then Lisa K23, thank you. Let's get a happy birthday in the chat for Queen BTP. Thank you, everybody that does choose to voluntarily follow us. I appreciate all of you. All right, Dex. So this picture shows a beaming Jeffrey EpiPen and Gross Lane Mixwell blessed by the Pope, showing all of their powerful connections.
Yeah, so this is obviously not a new photo because one of these people is allegedly deceased and the other one's in jail. But this is something, I guess, that has surfaced and was released by, I believe, The Sun. I don't know if it was their photo or someone else's, but they released this photo that they had found where they were, had a meeting with His Holiness.
So is this new? Like nobody throughout the whole kind of crazy case and him being in jail, nobody pulled this photo out?
Yeah, that's how I'm taking it. Is this is a new photo or a new old photo that hasn't really surfaced and it's just now resurfacing or surfacing.
I just wonder if some are claiming that this is like Photoshop, because it's like you could probably easily put these people here and him there, but I wouldn't think so. Is this the new Pope or the old Pope? I wonder if this is, which Pope is this? Does anybody know? Do we have any Pope experts here? This would be dated probably a while ago.
It's actually very old. It's 2 decades ago, and it's John Paul II. And they flew there via private jet to receive a blessing from John Paul II.
So if you get blessed by the Pope, do you have a new title? That I know if you get knighted by the Queen, you're a sir, right? Is there a title?
Yeah, I don't think there's a title that goes along with it. It's just a blessing.
You're
not a role.
You're just hashtag blessed? Yeah.
And I don't think that hashtag applies to those two.
Yeah. Look at this. I mean, just it's crazy how deep this rabbit hole goes. It's just insane.
And obviously the Sun is proud of this picture. You see their watermark is the most obnoxious watermark I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think they wait, who actually released this?
The Sun.
Is it an exclusive?
The tab before should actually be the article.
I wonder who owns the picture though. I can't tell. Maybe it's a Sun exclusive. Huh. Yeah, I think they're doing that because they probably are. If you had a photo like that, think about how much photo. If you owned a photo of this, and you wanted to give that to media would pay you millions of dollars for this photo. That is one valuable photo. It's the only photo that I've seen that shows the Pope blessing, Pedo EpiPen and then Pimp Maxwell. Craziness. Jesse S. Austria, if I recall correctly, has since decided to lock everyone down for a number of days. I have a feeling being used to keep the is easier. Cray Slayer, by the way, that's a funny thing. I was not even, I don't think I was at that even moment. I think I covered Austria, but I was not thinking about that in the slightest. Cray Slayer, I live in Tasmania and I am about to lose my job because I don't want to take the thing. It's crazy that we are all in kind of the same boat. Doesn't matter where you are on the planet. Almost. I mean, there's only a few countries that I don't think are in the same kind of boat or in a similar boat, right? We're all in the same kind of position here. Carissa McGuire, thank you. Thank you for subscribing. And Rhonda Swaney, welcome. And then Chrysler, thank you. Machina Opus says, greetings from Oceania, Tax Farm 3, formerly known as Australia. And, of course, from Australia. That's awesome. Joseph Newhouse, that is, oh my gosh, I just got that. Oceania, Tax Farm 3, formerly known as Australia. And then Carissa McGuire, thank you. Joseph Newhouse, can I call tomorrow about Matrix code in the news? Sure, Joseph, if you get in, that's fine. Benjamin Allen says, listening in the Palm Springs of Washington. Thank you again. Everybody that popped in. Oh, so that Gen X dude I missed says, I'm not woke, just aware. One Love Mafia. Couldn't CS be used as weapons also? JS. Do you get that, Dex?
Yeah, the article about seeding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course it could. I mean, depends on what you put in the thing. Look
at all that flooding in China.
Which again affected the people's view of their Chinese president. Xi Jinping, people have said that he has lost his heavenly mandate because of the natural disasters. Natural disasters, as we know from actual agreements that have happened between countries, that they said that they can control certain things. The problem is they could start certain things, like they could start an earthquake, but they couldn't stop it. So because the fact that they couldn't stop it, they did an agreement that said, hey, we can make these WMDs of any kind of weather and this and that, but we can't control it. So we should agree to not use it. It's kind of like white phosphorus and the other stuff that nobody is supposed to use. It's so cruel and unusual that, nobody's supposed to use it. With the weather stuff, they said that they weren't supposed to use it because nobody could stop it. For example, they could start an earthquake, but they couldn't stop it. U.S. intel shows Russian plans for potential Ukraine invasion. It says the U.S. has shared intelligence, including maps with European allies that show a buildup of Russian troops and artillery to prepare for a rapid, large-scale push into Ukraine from multiple locations if President Vladimir Putin decided to invade, according to people familiar with the conversation. That intelligence has been conveyed to some NATO members over the past week to back up U.S. concerns about Putin's possible intentions and an increasingly frantic diplomatic effort to deter him away from any incursion. With European leaders engaging directly with the Russian president, the diplomacy is informed by an American assessment that Putin could be weighing an invasion early next year as his troops again mass near the border. So remember, early next year is in the next couple months. We're talking about an invasion, and guess what? There's not an invasion that invades Ukraine that doesn't involve China invading Taiwan. Is this saying that they are possibly planning for a WW3, or unless the U.S., which I by the way, all these other allies are going to act if we don't. That's what they're saying, at least. Will there be a massive conflict even if we stay out of it? Guess what we also stayed out of at first? Dex, do you remember the last, there was a conflict that we stayed out of and then we jumped into because of an event?
Well, of course, the second one.
WW2. The rest of the world was going at it, and then we got jumped in. At least that's what the history books say, right? So even if we stay out of this and Japan goes, and why do I say that there was no plan that involved Ukraine getting invaded and not Taiwan? Because they're allies and they're closest buddies right now. And for them to get both done at the same time, which they're both amassing their troops, they're both drilling to take over the places, and they're both getting all of the logistics ready. And now we have on both sides saying that they are completely ready to do the thing. We have had our generals say that they are now capable to do it and to finish it. to physically take over Taiwan. And then on the other side, you have Ukraine. Russia's had the ability to do it. It's about timing. So they would do it at the same time, and then that would spread. If we do end up going into WW3, it would spread everybody all over the world.
And this intel that they're putting out there, it reminds me of the intel we've put out for other conflicts. You remember the intel we put out before we went into the ME twice? We had two different stages of intel that said certain things were happening, right? So this is a set of intel from America that says, basically that Russia is building up at Belarus, at Crimea, and on the Russian border of Ukraine to come in from 3 different points with 100,000 soldiers. That's a lot.
Not only that, 100,000 soldiers who some of them will be piloting vehicles, tanks, artillery, every single type of military, and who knows how many jets, how much of their Air Force is going to be involved, how many drones are going to be involved on this one. This one, now we're getting into the next actual conflict we have with the world is going to involve a lot of unmanned aircraft, a lot of unmanned vehicles.
And here's another stat in here. Moscow has called up tens of thousands of reservists on a scale unprecedented in post-Soviet times. In other words, they've never done this since pre-Soviet times. They're digging deep into their reserve list. That's huge. I mean, that's not just let's go do some training.
They're getting ready for conflict. Most of the Fugel fam and people that are ending up watching this, they're going to know. And who cares if somebody says, oh, you're fear-mongering. I don't care at this point. Look at how obvious this is. Look at how as far as what, I guess, where does it get us? Where does it get us? We were showing you absolute proof, intel that they are saying that this is happening. And guess what? If we go throughout history, mainstream and everything else has shown us messages right before it happens. Just like Dex said, if the Middle East event that happened, we had the same exact intel. And it went public. And then it happened. But this is on a way bigger scale. This is way bigger. This is the odds are. This is not something anyone wants to see. And then Dex, Kremlin accuses West of artificially whipping up Ukraine tensions. Can you go over this one?
Yeah, most certainly. So, of course, you're going to have Putin come out and say, look, this is not necessarily what's happening, but, I'm sure he's very proud that everybody's up in arms over the actions he's taken. But at the same time, I can't imagine that if he's actually planning an invasion, he's going to come right out and say it. He's going to play coy, or he's going to say one thing and do another. That's more typical for what you're going to get from Putin and from them. So him coming out and saying, look, you guys are all crazy to think that we're doing this. I love the attention, but it's not true. Actions speak louder than words. When you're moving all these troops in, when you're putting them strategically on 3 different points around the country that is in question, it sort of begs the question, why are you training for that if it wasn't real? So again, if take it with a grain of salt, right? But I would bet on the fact that if Putin's saying one thing publicly, he's not going to necessarily tell you what he's doing. He's going to tell you something strategic that would be in favor of whatever his plans are.
It's very specific talk here. So it says that essentially he's denying this and saying that this is all just some BS. Like Dex said, they're surrounding them. So we'll see what happens here. I think people are used to all of the previous fake tensions and the things that have gone up over the years that I think we are trained. Dex, would you agree or disagree? Most of us are trained to see everything get to a point and then come back down. Get up to a point where everybody thinks it's WW3 and then it comes back down. So it's kind of like, people say, well, when the boy cries wolf, one of these days we're going to meet the wolf. And one of these days it's not going to come back down. One of these days it's not going to be settled. And more things have added up to the point where this isn't just for propaganda. This is actual, they're changing the world right now. They are actually resetting the planet.
Well, and let's face it, like, go back to the first conflict, the second conflict, Nam, and then everything that was in the Middle East, right? All of those things benefited the financiers who backed them, right? It benefited the industrial complex, right? And there are plenty of people that believe that there's always going to be some sort of conflict like this, whether you want to call it a world one or not, it's still going to be significant so that the complex can continue to use its toys, so to speak. And it's not, it's not a diss to our military. It's more of a diss towards the people that make money off of the equipment at the highest end, that build these types of systems, that they want to have a place for them to be used, and they need to have that. So seeing, take that into account, look back at history, there's always been something going on. So to think now that we're not doing as much in the ME anymore, where's the next place? There's got to be another spot that's going to heat back up, that's going to fill that void, that's going to supply, and take care of the needs of the complex, so to speak, right? So, this is not, even if it's completely orchestrated, it's still relevant in the sense that these are real people. They're in a country, and these are real soldiers on either sides of the lines that have to put their lives on the line, right? So, and it affects everyone on all sides.
Well, and exactly. Now, one thing that people aren't putting together here is that it's a stacking a house, right? And now our world is completely different, and they're not adding it to this other thing because the other thing is the CV and everything else. I said at the very beginning of this and the lockdowns, when they first happened, I said, what if they're actually preparing us for something different? And I just a theory. What if they were getting ready for a major event? And what if they needed to, after a major conflict, be able to track every person? Survivors. Find survivors after a horrible event. That's something I thought of as well. Like, they've come to an agreement. What I said 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, I said I think that they have talked, and they said that they knew they were going to be in a conflict, and that this would benefit some things. Again, the people that are at the very top, they are going to be safe. Unless they're taken out by a nation, they're going to be safe. They're going to be in their mansions. They're going to know. They're at least going to get warning. I mean, we've got to the point where during the last presidency, our actual major general, that one of the people at the very top, said he would call China if we were going to surprise attack him. Why would he do that if there wasn't a chance of us surprise attacking? We've never surprise attacked a major world power before. A world power has surprise attacked us if you go off of what happened with, of course, Pearl Harbor. But something is going down right now that is way bigger than any of us. I guess I'm done. Who cares about these other people? And what it is that people do not want this to be true. But time will tell. Time will tell, and then people can talk and say, oh, yeah, that never happened. I am absolutely sure that this is going to happen. We just don't know the timeline. Survival Living, thanks for popping in, man. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out Survival Living, honestly, guy is an incredible prepper, and he actually knows what he's doing. He has gone through all sorts of different training. He's inspired me to do training as far as I've had issues. I have stuff, but I know that I am not at the place I want to be. If everything went out right now, I know that I would not know what to eat. I would not know what to eat if I was in the woods. I barely know how to make a fire. So I know where I want to be, and I'm not there yet. Survival Living has definitely done a greater job in that. It says, fear-mongering my wazoo. Brother, I appreciate your intel helping us prep ahead of what's coming, fam and viewers. Adam is connecting the dots. Please pay attention to what he is sharing. Hey, I appreciate that, especially coming from you. And then Survival Living says, LOL, boy cries wolf. I will eat the wolf, LOL. It's pretty good. You probably know how, too. I just learned how to smoke meat over in the woods, and I thought that was pretty cool. Jesse S., thank you. That Gen X dude says, one big shell game. I just think that everybody has been so used to it getting to this point and then coming down. The big ones where it doesn't come back down, those happen every few decades or every 50 years or so, and it's happening. It's gonna happen. Okay, all right, cool. So if you guys have not seen this yet, I actually got my package. I'm gonna open something because I actually got one of the really awesome bags. If you guys want to support us and actually protect yourself against being tracked, traced, or protect any of your gear, your cell phones, your electronics, Off Grid is a company that was originally only dealing with with agencies like FBI, and they were selling these as evidence bags because anything that DHS or any of these guys put in this is basically off of grid. It is not reachable. It is completely protected against EMP. It's protected against, of course, CMEs. Everything in here is protected, and it can actually it can protect and not track. So the spies would be using this thing. So I actually have the bag here, and I'll cut it open. I am super freaking pumped because I was waiting for it. They actually offered to send us these, and I was like incredibly pumped because I didn't know that they had other than the actual smaller ones. So let me open it. Dex, you already got yours, right?
Yeah, so this is a brand new bag for them. They've had these larger bags for the LEO and military, but they had been contracted to design, I guess, a specific, more tactical bag for agencies, which we can't say who. But this is the product that they basically built and turned into a consumer line. They have, a set of them now that are available for sale. It's probably a good time for, the holidays. I don't know how many they're going to have because I know that they just got in their first truckload that they had built from their factory. So, but yeah, this is really cool. I can't wait to see you open it.
It says complete cybersecurity for everyone, every day, everywhere.
And I think you have two in there, right?
Yeah, I have the backpack and the duffel. I think, right?
Yeah, you should have a backpack and a duffel.
Okay, I want to do the backpack. I know what I'm doing with the duffel because I'm going to put stuff. So this can be used as the go bag. I actually like Canadian Prepper did a really cool video on bags, but these weren't out yet. I bet you that if he did do a video based on backpacks, that he probably would have added this in if this was out when he did it.
Yeah, and this, when you open this, Adam, it has enough room for like 2 days of clothes, in addition to, laptop, tablet, phone, keys. And by the way, for those of you with a newer car with the digital keys, that stuff can be copied right out of your pocket while you're walking down the aisle in a grocery store, and then somebody can take that digital copy, and go out and unlock and drive your car away. So if you store your keys in a device like that, it can prevent that from happening.
So not only does it have it on the main outside, on the inside it has separate actual, basically what we had before it was the cell phone and tablet holder, and then the cell phone holder, which was small. This basically has the bags built in for everything. key fob. This one is for the key fob. This one is for your phone. And it all seals up. Like, I'm super freaking pumped for this. And then the whole bag has different spots for absolutely everything. It's super freaking
How about the quality on that thing? I mean, that is some stout material.
This is as good as my actual my camera bag, which is a higher end to protect all my lenses and stuff. This is like unbelievable. So this is for the laptop. This is the stuff that literally when you put your stuff in this, it is off grid. It is not trackable. Here's the thing. I am really sick of getting tracked everywhere I go, and these companies getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Oh my gosh! It has a sunglass holder. To be honest, I don't wear sunglasses, but my wife does. That's freaking cool.
I got to tell you, that's one of my favorites, just because it's a hard shell case, right? Like you throw your glasses in there, they don't get messed up.
I'm super pumped about this. As far as like, I waited because they told us like 2 months ago or 3 months ago.
And keep in mind, this was designed for a tactical purpose. This was built for agencies, and they specifically worked with them to custom design this bag for their needs, right? And what they were doing. And so, 2 days of clothes, a whole bunch of goods, all of your electronics, protect it from an EMP, protect it from anybody snooping or seeing your signal if you're trying to be completely stealth. That's why they changed their name. Like, they used to be called EDEC. And for those of you that are wondering what EDEC is, that was a different acronym that they had for their LEO products that they built. They've changed their name to Off Grid to be more representative of what they're building in their new product line.
So I don't know if you see that. Each one is key fob, tablet, phone, and then in the back laptop. It has, every bag has an actual smaller one in there. So it's basically 4 EDEC bags inside of an actual useful protected backpack. Yeah. And it's like nice, almost feels like leather. I am super pumped. If you guys want to support us, you can end up getting this through our link, and that ends up helping us. But not only that, I believe you get a discount for all of the stuff off grid. We don't get free stuff very often. As far as like this goes, I will actually use this and use it every day. So this is EDC. This is like everyday carry. The cushion, I wish you guys could feel this. Oh, there's a secret pocket. Yeah, this actually has this on my camera bag too. There's a little rain cover, so you can pull this out and then it covers the whole bag, so it can be even more protected. So again, thank you guys at Off Grid. That is like super, super cool. Yeah, because we don't do that kind of stuff very often. When they said that they were coming out with different products, definitely was cool to see what it is. So I hope you guys end up going over there and getting them. Even if I have to say, like, not being tracked and traced and all of that stuff that everybody is doing now, that's one of the big parts of that. Yeah. So anyways, make sure to go over and get your Off Grid. Go over to marfooglenews.com/offgrid. It supports us. And again, we don't try to do this very often, but when there's an opportunity like this, that's huge. Make sure to use the code Marfoogle. That way you can save money and you can help your favorite channel at the same time. All right, and then back to the news. U.S. patrol boats, and I'll do a video. I'll do a small video for a short or something and show the inside of the bag. Basically, if any of you grabbed the original EDEC, it was a little bag. That's all of the EDECs in one bag, all in one thing. That is a go bag that is completely protected. I mean, I don't think you can get better than that. And then U.S. patrol boats sent to beef up Ukrainian Navy near Black Sea. So here's, of course, more evidence from that side saying that they are beefing it up. It says a ship carrying 2 refitted former U.S. Coast Guard patrol boats designed to beef up the Ukrainian Navy transited the Dardanelles Strait on Saturday, days after Ukraine said it feared Russia might be preparing an attack on it. The ship carrying the 2 Island-class patrol boats departed Baltimore for the Ukrainian port of Odessa on November 8th. Ukrainian sailors have already undergone extensive training on the vessels in the United States. Ukraine got 2 similar vessels in 2019. The 2 new boats are part of a security package to Ukraine worth over $2.5 billion since 2014, the year when Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula and Russian-backed separatists seized a swath of eastern Ukraine, the U.S. Embassy in Kiev says. The United States, Ukraine, and NATO have accused Russia of threatening behavior towards Kiev in the recent weeks, alleging that it has built up its forces in proximity to Ukraine in an unusual way. Russia says that it has the right to move its troops anywhere it wants on its own territory and is not planning to attack anyone. Yeah, they're just surrounding them and putting their troops at 3 different points right at the border. And yeah, it's none of your business is basically what they said.
So imagine this scenario, and this is completely hypothetical, and there's nothing to back this up except for a couple of facts. We have like $85 billion worth of equipment left behind in an adversarial country. Imagine if any of that equipment, or even just the simplest forms, the dress or the uniforms and the bang bangs are used in an event against, say, Russia across a line, and it makes it look like something that America did in support of Ukraine. Very much like what you described a couple shows ago, Adam, about what happened and that fired off a lot of the stuff in the second conflict, I believe, with Poland and Germany, right?
Yeah, the Fantastic Freddy.
The Fantastic Freddy. But this could actually be done with our adversaries, doing it against our adversaries, and we would have no control over it because we left that stuff behind. It's just sitting. It's already been paraded through streets over and over again.
Yeah, and we've seen what they're actually doing here, and it's incredible that they're saying anything elsewise. But that's kind of the sense of humor of Putin. I think he would do that until the very last day and then take it over. And then you have the U.S. considering sending extra weaponry to Ukraine as fears mounts over potential Russian invasion. So they have the intel that basically says that he is planning it. And then, of course, now they are mulling over sending weaponry. I bet it's already made a decision. This is my theory, that they are going to be sending weapons already. It's already decided. And then they're going to send that weaponry over as part of the potential kind of response to when they do try to take over. We have seen this for 2 years, them going up to this point. What do people think is going to happen? That China is just going to not take Taiwan and Russia is going to do all of this, and they've both been preparing the same amount of time, and then one day they're going to go, just kidding. We're not, just go live another 2 decades and we're good. We just wanted to like flex a little. This is Russia and China, folks. This isn't NK. When they talked about taking Crimea, they talked about it, prepped it, and then they did it because they are organized. Russia's obviously got its backwoods areas, but their government does have training. Their military is a savage military, and they are a world power. Same with China. And China is not only a world power and extremely powerful and a huge population, but they are also technologically advanced. In fact, we recently had one of our Pentagon software main officers, one of our software officers in the Pentagon, resign, and his reasoning was that we just lost the battle of AI to China. So if China's above us in AI technology and above us in any kind of technology, how are people still thinking that they're back in the Stone Age or something? Not to mention the other generals have said that now they possess the largest navy. It's like, how did this happen? What dummy let this happen? So sending extra weaponry is a big deal.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. But speaking of China, they just did something that's, even leaving the Pentagon like completely loopy over how they pulled this off. So we'll get to it in a minute. But yeah, their tech is really coming along.
I think we're here. China's hypersonic nuke fired a second missile mid-flight, leaving Pentagon reeling as experts say it defies science. Do you see this? Scientists can't figure out how they did it. It says China's hypersonic nuke, a nuke, fired a second missile mid-flight, leaving Pentagon reeling as experts say it defies science. It says China's round-the-world hypersonic nuclear weapon fired a second missile while traveling 5 times faster than the speed of sound, reports claim. No country had previously been able to demonstrate this advanced engineering feat, and the test is said to have caught Pentagon scientists off guard. Last month, China stunned the world when it emerged it had launched a hypersonic missile right around the globe. Now it has been revealed that the weapon is far more advanced than originally thought. The hypersonic glide vehicle, a maneuverable spacecraft which can carry a nuclear warhead, fired a separate missile during its flight in the atmosphere over the South China Sea on July 27th, according to the Financial Times report. It says experts at the Pentagon Advanced Research Agency, DARPA, are said to be unsure how China achieved the feat. As scientists say, it tests the constraints of physics. Military experts are said to have been poring over the data and discover how it was achieved. They are also said to be discussing what the projectile might be for. I have a theory. Some Pentagon experts believe the projectile was an air-to-air missile, while others think it was a countermeasure to destroy missile defense systems so they cannot shoot down the hypersonic weapon. Do you realize what we were close to? We are close to China having the ability to knock out whatever defenses we have. Therefore, we have no mutually assured. Honestly, if this hits us before we have the chance to launch, there's no mutually assured destruction. I have a feeling that is some sort of EMP weapon or something that they launch out. Dex, what do you think the second missile is?
Well, that certainly could be it. I mean, they even using EMPs and doing multiples over multiple areas, I guess could give them a wider range of impact. But they would have to be sort of simultaneous or close to the same time for it to affect, because it has to ring the ionosphere, so to speak. But the other thing we have to keep in mind is anything that China's doing, Russia's involved with, or at least they're allies together. So you would think that they're going to be trading or improving on tech with one another. And so, Russia's had their hypersonic before China, and now China comes out with something even bigger and better. I think, there's this goes right into the face of what everybody says is, oh, don't worry about their tech, they're so old school. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. This is a huge achievement for them, and for anybody for that matter.
So something that was something that was said there. WW3 is a hybrid war fought on many fronts. Possible dumb location, Montage Ridge near Ellensburg. Thank you, Benjamin Allen, by the way. But what was said? That Gen X dude says the new Cold War 2. I grew up through the first. Scary times. This isn't going to be as far as everybody I know and all of the military I know, this isn't going to be a Cold War. A Cold War is where it doesn't go hot and it's just this constant threat against each other. We've had that going on for 50 years. This is at the turning point. This is where they start taking land. This is where they start taking over countries. This is the third conflict. This is where here's what we have to lose. If China takes over the world, this is almost as bad as Germany, as far as you will lose all of your rights. You will not be able to speak against your government. You will not be able to defend yourself against your government. You will not be able to own anything. That is how China is currently. And like I said in this little song up front, you will own nothing and be happy. That's how the World Economic Forum puts it. That you will rent everything, or you'll have everything, but it will all be on rent to you. You won't own a single thing. This is what the elites have put together. This isn't some YouTuber saying that the future will be like this. This is the world's elites saying in the near future, like 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. because they're going to change everything around us. It's going to be for our convenience or for our safety. Everything is going to be for our safety. The world is going to fall and collapse. But guess what? We've got you. We've got you handled. You'll be happy. You'll be taken care of. The robots will do it for you. Really, it's a way of managing us. They're going to manage us. As far as the conflict, this is going to be the turning point. If China does take over completely, if there isn't, I think there almost has to be a new government arise from this out of the U.S. Out of the U.S., out of Australia, out of Europe, a new complete government that's like all of the. I don't know what.
I think that's what they want. I don't know that that's what we want. That America wants, but that's definitely what I think you're seeing the writing on the wall from those in power is they want to reset not only economics but reset governments and how it's governed across the globe.
Well, I don't know. I would see what if the good guys win or something, supposedly, or what if we don't even know who the good guys are yet? China loses. Half of the U.S. loses. Half of the U.S. wins. Half of Australia. Half of Europe. Something is gonna give.
The last point I want to make though on the hypersonics though is if you remember when Russia first tested, they went into production. Was it like 6 months later, maybe?
Yep.
Okay, so they went from testing to production to we're now ready and they're they're hot basically, ready to roll in 6 months. So China tested this, a few months ago. So it's not going to be that much longer till they said, okay, we've got it because it worked. I mean, I think they missed their target by, a negligible amount, but it was not so far off that they would call it a massive failure. It was probably just, okay, we need to fine tune this, fine tune that. And oh, by the way, we did a whole bunch of other things that haven't been done before. So they're going to be, and if Russia and China are online with a capability that we can't defend against and we can't even compete against because we haven't gotten past testing, like we failed 3 times in a row. And I think we finally got one, to burn correctly. But that's it. We're not there, at least not publicly.
I just want to read this headline. U.S. not as advanced as China and Russia on hypersonic tech. This isn't coming from China or Russia. This is coming from our Space Force General. Space Force that was created for the exact reason why, all of these space weapons, they've weaponized space, everything else, is created by the last administration, President T-Man's dream team there. The Space Force General said that we are behind them. We're not even slated to field our first missile until 2024. If that is true, there is a short amount of time where there's no mutually assured destruction. If they have technology that can track our slow missiles and destroy them with their hypersonics, and at the same time hit us with hypersonics, EMP, everything else, we're done. Do you think that they would take advantage of this? And do you think that they would use this 1 year to take over the world? They might have prepared for that. They might have prepared for, would they be opportunists and take that opportunity to take everything out? Dex?
Well, I don't know that they want to, I don't know that they look at our country and say they want to take it out. I think they want to have more power and control over it. They want the farmland. They want the riches. They don't necessarily want to turn it into, a wasteland, a barren wasteland that they can't do anything with. Right. So I don't necessarily worry that they would actually want to come in. Now, doesn't mean a city or two couldn't be hit in the midst of a conflict. But I also think that if we start to see our own government kowtowing and negotiating and giving up strongholds that we've had and putting ourselves in a lesser position than we've been in the future, then I would think it's probably clear that behind the scenes, what's being told is, hey, we have something that you don't, and you can't do anything about it. So now you're going to do what we want you to do. So that'll be an obvious sign if we see that start to happen. Aside from the fact that you'll see Taiwan and probably the Ukraine get rolled over quickly.
Stealth Soccer says you don't need hypersonic weapons when you have lasers and direct energy weapons on satellites that can take out whatever you want. Stealth Stalker, I guarantee we have stuff, but that's why they're coming up with satellite missiles, and that's why they're coming out with satellite grip arms that can destroy our space weapons. Who knows? Or the space weapons that we don't talk about.
Yeah, and you don't even have to hit the satellite directly. You can just destroy an old satellite in the path of it and take out everything that's in its way. Right? Just create a big nasty field of debris, which they've already done.
Why would they nuke us when they got President B elected to office? Come on, China. Well, because he's got a nice new apartment and a new house to live in the ghost cities. They don't need us. Again, I don't know if they're necessarily going to nuke us. It would be EMP, knock out all the power, steamroll, take out all of our airfields, disorganize us. If we don't have GPS and they do, if they have everything, if they have all of the abilities that we don't on our own homeland, they would have the advantage. Think about if we had all of our equipment and no communications. Hey, LCJC family, Guacaholic is here. Says, I just want more candy. Stay Strong says, I call BS on... See, I don't know. I guess a lot of people have that kind of opinion of saying that China and Russia don't have this, or that it's all BS. I guess we'll see. Time will tell. Rebel Snarfle says, JC says, by the way, they blew up the ghost cities. The ghost cities still exist. They might have taken down a couple buildings. In fact, there was a live video just a couple weeks ago of one of the craziest ones. Propaganda is a weapon of war, says Tassie Devil. Northern Star, correct. If China boomed us, then the rest of the world would boom China. Northern Star. Hey, and thank you for paying attention to how you write, even in the chat. As you guys know, when we have bigger chat numbers, they end up like totally watching everything. So thank you. That helps us too. You know, like seriously, thank you for seeing this as this is a Foogle family. Like this is supposed to be all of us. AZ Infidel, Cleep Nasty. What's going on? It's a psychological conflict. Yes. Copper Norman Dapowski, they steal information, then reverse engineer, then build better, more advanced versions, even like the research of gain of function. Majority of countries have it banned. No fear of God. Also, if there's no bureaucracy, bureaucracy of like, what if they use something they're not supposed to? I think that they would if it really meant them winning. Maria Sprawlden says, I think it will be spaghetti in the skies soon. I think it's spaghetti in the skies already, to be honest. Everything is dark nowadays. Now, when I put this together, what I mean is this winter, we have the highest odds as far as everything that is happening right now. Everybody you probably watch is kind of trying to grasp on what is going on and what's going to happen next. The one thing that a few of us have done is we take what is happening overall. We look at everything. And it is very simple once you start following this every single day and start following the patterns and start looking at, what is the entire world doing rather than just one place or your city or your life. Most people are so focused on, they're hyper focused on their life, what is in their direct, 15 feet, who they know, their cousin, their mom, their brother, their daughter. But they're not focused on not only outside their city, outside their country, outside their planet. We're looking at everything, and that's part of our job. But not only that, we have thousands and thousands of people. And with those thousands of people, when we hear something from one person, we don't say, oh, okay, that's happening. When we hear it from 200 people, we make sure that it's not coming from a source like a YouTube video where it's just somebody else saying hearsay. We make sure that it is coming from multiple sources, and those are all good sources. There is a ton of military, and without the Discord, which is really crappy that they took it, with that, you could see that we have over 500 active military members here. Most of them in the chat. So if people don't look at what is happening and don't understand the seriousness of what is going on, then you just keep pushing. Like, if somebody tells you you're crazy for thinking all this stuff, who cares? I've lost good friends. Like my two of my best friends, they think I'm nuts. But guess what? It's like just short of putting them on a 3-way call with somebody who is a higher up military member. It's like, I want to do that. I just want to be like, hey, talk to this person. Please tell them what you told me. People are going to be caught so off guard by this, and you guys were warned. People are going to be trolls and say, oh, it's not happening. You're just doing this for fear. You're just trying to sell your EMP bags. No, we're trying to survive at the same time. In fact, if we did other stuff, if we did other products that were less controversial and something that everybody could use, then we would do a whole lot better. I think that people assume that everybody is running out to buy go bags and running out to buy EMP-proof backpacks and things. Some of the smarter ones are, but not everybody can either afford it or they don't understand why they need it. I hope people end up listening, because it's right in front of you. We've shown you why. We've shown you over years, and our track record is good. How many people go, oh, you didn't get this right? What? That's why we back up what we say.
Less than 7 on YouTube.
Dex, talk about Europe's CV crisis pits.
Well, this goes hand in hand with what we were talking about with Austria and we're seeing more news come out of Europe, and a lot of the consternation seems to flow around whether or not you have something or don't have something. And you'll see rules that are created for one side versus another, and it almost pits people. And as the headline says, it's dividing. It's a division. We'll have to watch more of this, but what you see in Europe is not just the only place it's going to happen. We see this in Australia. We see it in other places as well. So we'll see more of it. But yeah, this is kind of, if you haven't been paying attention, the news is starting to spin that up at a greater level in both Europe and Australia and other places, that topic around CV, and specifically around what they're doing, and that things are getting more heated around those actions they're taking.
Now, quickly, do you want to run over as far as the yellow bar on our website?
Absolutely. So head over to marfooglenews.com and click on the thumbnail for the show. Scroll down to web-only content. You'll get everything else that we haven't been able to talk about, basically too hot for TV. The rest of the story, it's at marfooglenews.com. Sometimes humorous things like the gas pump with stickers, but this one has a different sticker that you probably wouldn't expect to see. Go check that out if you haven't. More information on what happened in Wisconsin. Even, conversations from political leaders and others, and conversations going on about the verdict from last week as well. So lots more there. MarfoogleNews.com. Click on the thumbnail for the show. Scroll down to web-only content, or if you're on YouTube, just open the description. It's the first link. It's right there. Show notes. It'll take you directly to it.
Which, by the way, those stickers were put on by the actual gas station in that town, in that example, and they said that they would charge for vandalism if they were removed. As far as down below, lots of great stories. Make sure to go check it out. Thank you, everybody that has followed with us. S. Sherwin 602. Thank you so much for your massive support of the channel. Thank you over on DLive. Again, multiple people in the top 3, including one I don't believe is even here. Lead Dispenser may have left, but thank you everybody over there. I just can't say enough about the D-Love over there. Crop Duster Recalcitrant, PR Setec Astronomy, thank you. Almost actually 5,000 viewers with DLive. And then DeHorn, thank you everybody. Everybody over there, really. Lead Dispenser was the #1 supporter tonight. Lead Dispenser, thank you. Patriot, Scooby-Doo Do Right, thank you. Appreciate you. Divine 1122, Lisa K23, Queen BTP, Vault 11. Hope have you been streaming lately? Maui Racing Realtor, what is going on? One Not B, Gem, thanks for modding. Jammer 1, Chance Paladin, thank you for modding as well. Thank you everybody over there, and thank you for my mods over on YouTube. Let's get an M in the chat for the mods. Ryan Alter says, please stop getting triggered yourself. Enjoy the show. So I'm not triggered. The thing is I want people to understand that, like, they're going in telling this information to somebody else, and they're getting the same response. At this point, we got to stop caring. Like, these people are not going to know what to do when this happens. And again, I'm working on myself, learning on what to do when this happens. I expect the lights to go out. My theory of what is going to happen is I'm going to be sitting here, or I'm going to sit with my kids, and the light's going to go out. That is what my first instance of something. I feel like I'm going to hear jets, and then I feel like the rest is going to play out from there. Most people aren't going to understand what's going to happen until after it happens, and then you're not going to know. So do your research on what to do after all of this goes down. There is nowhere safe in the world from a world conflict, and there's no reason to fear it. You just gotta prepare yourself and watch. Time will tell. If it doesn't come true, 10 years from now, I'll be in a ditch with a cardboard sign saying, I thought it was the end of the world. Don't think so. Dex, thank you for your service tonight. Appreciate you. It is now time.
Great show.
For the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It is a shoutro. It's where I say thank you to the people that matter most. Gonna be left out in the cold. You're gonna be. Thank you, Craig G, for the PayPal during the show. I appreciate you. You're gonna be left out in the cold. You're gonna be left out in the cold. Bible time for the common people. Everybody has that Gen X, that Gen X. LaRue and Vargas, Jesus is Lord. Says our channel is new. We are farmer music artists from the 80s. Satan is a lie and well in Hollywood, baby. We'll be talking about our experience. If everyone or anyone is interested, lots of love to you, Marf and Dex.
it shining with the dark.